Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first KSP mission in a while. As you can see, at 4 times normal speed, I am launching a rather large 3.75 meter rocket into orbit around Kerbal. This is because we are having, as I think I said, we are having a little mission to Eve. Now this is probably going to take quite a long time. It's probably going to be in 2 missions. This is the best part of around 3 hours worth of work, chopped down into about 12 minutes, or just under 12 minutes should I say. The reason I'm making this is because, well, you guys probably haven't seen much of my many videos from me in the past few weeks. Look at that booster separation. That was beautiful. But you, as I've mentioned in my War Thunder video, you probably won't be seeing many videos from me in the next coming weeks due to mock exams and what have you, but I will link that video down below, the War Thunder video, if you want the full lowdown. The reason I wanted to make this though is because I just haven't played KSP. I haven't played KSP in a while, guys, and so I wanted to make a video, a nice 2-part sort of series where I go to a planet and return. This may even be 3 parts actually. It depends. I'm not sure. I'll see how the next thing goes, shall we say. But as you can see, my launch stage here was kind of having a little bit of acceleration problems, I think is probably the best way of saying it. But you can see here, I ran out of fuel, get into the next stage, and realise that I quickly start draining fuel. And you can see the core stage for this Eve launch. You can see I've gone with some of the new B9 parts. As you probably saw a little bit earlier, I went into IVA and I've got all the raster prop monitor parts and stuff like that. But otherwise, getting into orbit is just a relatively straightforward affair. You can see I do have MechJeb installed. We extend the solar panels. I do have MechJeb installed, but that is mostly because I was recording this in a rush and I have to finish the burn with the nuclear engines because I really underestimated the amount of Delta V needed to get into orbit. I've gone off on a tangent again. I can only apologise. But the main reason we got MechJeb installed is because I literally had a space of 3 hours to record this in between work and school and what have you. So I had literally 3 hours, so I thought, quick, let's make a mission and record it, and I'll do a post commentary and everything afterwards. And that is exactly what I am doing. But there, here we go. This is the core stage in orbit. I got Bill or Bob or whoever it is out just to check around, check for damage, because obviously that was quite an unplanned improvisation into orbit, so to speak. But yeah, we put him in the habitation module because he's obviously going to be spending a long time there. He's having a good look around. Obviously we have the flag of happiness on the wall to remind the Kerbals of home, because chances are they won't be seeing it for a very long time. And obviously we do the old time warp around the planet. Nice bit of time-lapse footage there, just to see what it's like. But coming through now, this is the next launch. We had a few problems with this initial launch stage. As you can see, I am wobbling like, I don't know, like a schizophrenic or something like that. Look at the amount of wobble. You can see me desperately on this launch. You can see me desperately trying to fight it with the pitch. You can see the pitch controls, both from the SAS and from me, my manual controls, are going absolutely crazy, and you can see at some point I actually do throttle back to try and see if I can reduce the amount of wobble, and it does work for about 200 meters, until they realise, oh wait, I forgot to secure the payload in the fairing, and you can see it wobbling there, just outside, out of the fairing, in and out. Oh dear. And eventually, what goes up must come down, straight after I say F3. Yeah. And you can hear me laughing. So I redo the launch vehicle with some solid rocket boosters this time, and not only does it look a lot cooler, I think, but it's actually a lot more effective. But this part that we're actually trying to launch is the lander stage to Eve. I made a bit of a boo-boo. I think is boo-boo the correct word? That sounds like I'm talking about a child. I made a mistake because this lander that I have in here, which I'm going to keep a secret, I'm going to keep it within its payload shroud until we get to Eve. Look at me, look at that booster separation once again. But I'm going to keep it a secret until we get into Eve orbit, or to start our descent to Eve. It's actually 3.75 meter. Now, if you were paying attention, those B9 parts of the core stage were actually 2.5 meter parts. I did get the docking adapter right, which is a good thing. I did remember that it was a 2.5 meter part, which means I can rendezvous it and dock it no problem. Which is good, I guess. That's brilliant. Unfortunately, what it means is that, well, I will let you see. I will let you see when we come up on initial approach. But you can see the lander there. And my strategy will be, we'll dock the lander to the transfer stage that we put into orbit about 3 minutes ago. What we will do then is we will wait. Yes, I've remembered now. I don't know what I'm doing today. I'm just feeling so like bleh. I was up late last night filming this and everything, and work and life in general. But you can see MechJeb is doing most of the work for me here, unfortunately, because, well, I just didn't have time. Time to plan all the nodes and stuff like that, so I let MechJeb do it. So yes, what we're going to do is, once we've actually rendezvoused with the target, we're going to ditch this little skipper engine here, and we're going to rely solely on the RCS to dock us like normal. It's fairly procedure. And then what we do, we obviously dock and we get our plot our transfer to Eve, which will be in the next episode. And after that, what we will do, as you might be able to see just below the fairing, that is not a fuel tank, that is an RCS tank. And I have a couple of vernier engines, or whatever they're called, vernier engines, that I have placed on the outside of that module. Now what that will do is, once we're captured into an orbit around Eve, we will use those vernier engines to deorbit ourselves, and we will... Pardon me, I just burped, I got the hiccups and everything at the same time there. But we will... I've completely lost track. The burp made me lose track of what I was saying. Oh well. Basically, right, I'm back on track. Basically, what we will do is we will get to Eve, we will undock the module that we are supposed to be undocking, so the vernier engines and the lander. We will then start our descent into the purple haze that is Eve's atmosphere. We will then ditch the payload shrouds, and you'll be able to see what I have underneath. It's not a very impressive lander, it's basically a ton of fuel with a capsule on top. We will then do all of our surface exploration on Eve, and hopefully nothing will go wrong. I really hope nothing goes wrong, because, well, I've worked hard on this, and I really don't want it to go wrong. But you can see here, we are coming up on approach. We will then take off from Eve when I've done all of that sort of stuff. You can see me burning. Well, it's not really me burning here, it's MechJeb burning. Get just about right. We will then, to lift off from Eve, get into orbit, make a rendezvous. We will then ditch the entire lander bar the capsule. The capsule has a docking port, I think, on the back, but failing that, I know it definitely has a grabbing arm, so we can at least transfer the crew back across before ditching it and heading home. The only problem is that the core module itself does not have any parachutes, so I will have to send in a mission to orbit once I have got home, so to speak. So I'll have to have multiple launches, and it's not going to be very nice. But here you can see we're coming up on approach, and I've decided that it's sufficient distance to ditch the skipper engine, and we are planning the rendezvous. I did initially decide that I would use MechJeb to dock this thing, but MechJeb decided to be a bit retarded, as you will see in a second, and so I end up just doing the final lining up and the lining up and docking, the actual contact, so to speak, myself. Because if you look at MechJeb, is MechJeb a he? It's a computer, so I think it would probably be genderless. But you can see MechJeb is like, it keeps like going into the target and then just making contact ever so slightly off the center of mass and then bumping away and doing the whole thing again. But yeah, so I end up doing it on my of my own accord. As you can see here, I am now doing this manually, which was fun. You can see there the vernier engines, which are going to be deorbiting us. I really do hope that they have enough thrust and enough fuel, because apparently they're really inefficient. But here we go, we're coming up on it. We have contact. A little bit of a wiggle, turn RCS and SAS off. I actually have to switch crafts, but we're docked. But now you can see why I make the boo-boo. You can see that that lander on the back makes the craft look somewhat eccentric. But we do a barrel roll in celebration, and then it is time to do an EVA to inspect the craft. I think I'm probably going to call this craft the Wasp, purely because of its stinger that it has, that is the lander that is inside of that. But you can see it auto-correcting itself as Bill or Bob Kerman or whoever it is flies around triumphantly to try and find any flaws in the lander that has just docked with his other 2 crew members aboard it. But this is going to pretty much wrap up this episode, guys. I haven't talked about as much as I wanted to in this video. But yeah, I probably won't be uploading as much as I have been in the past due to exams and all that sort of stuff. Me and my girlfriend are working on a project at the moment. It's probably not going to bear fruit for another 2 months, but I will see you guys. I wanted to let you guys know about that, but I will see you in the next one. Peace out!